Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Om Gyan Timrandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guraho Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today is the auspicious Gaur Purnima, the day on which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu incarnated. And I was just planning to read my favorite section, so 7th chapter of the Adi Lila. And before that, few shlokas from the first chapter, which actually glorifies Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and offering obeisances unto him. So first few shlokas, now we will try to see. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakan Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, his plenary portions, his energies, and the primeval Lord himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So this is a very nice meditation. So when it is also includes a lot of gratitude, in this whole aspect. So we have an exercise, that many of the devotees, I do, and then many other devotees also, they try to practice this. That every day we try to meditate upon, all those who have helped us in Krishna consciousness, and then right from the person who inadvertently, just showed, this side, like the center is there or something like that. So that actually softens the heart like anything, and also it makes us understand that whatever I possess now is not my property. It is something that has been gifted to me, and so many people are involved, in this, in getting this gift to me at this point in time. So, offering respectful obeisances to the spiritual masters and to the devotees of the Lord and Lord's incarnations and his plenary portions, his energies, and the primeval Lord himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So, this, Krishna consciousness, the deeper aspects of Krishna consciousness, actually, we'll be able to unlock. So when we practice this principle of Amanina Manadena, and also the principle of remembering every single gift that we have received, and offering thanks and gratitude, to those things. So that makes a lot of that makes the heart very soften, and that makes the Lord, that makes it easy for the Lord to appear in the heart of the devotee. Right? So this is a very important thing. And then Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahadito Gaudayante Pushpavanto Chitro Sando Tamonato. So this is, I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance, and thus wonderfully bestow benedictions upon all of us. So, here, this is very nice analogy. Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So they are compared to sun and moon, and both of them have simultaneously arisen. So it is very difficult to have that kind of darshan. Even if that is there, sun will overpower the moon. So, but here both are shining very nicely. So it's very nice, this one. And here, the aspect here mentioned is they have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance. So people in this world, they are not able to understand whether God is there or not and things like that. So nowadays I'm hearing Srila Prabhupada's morning walks, and devotees are there is a lot of argument that is going on, and Prabhupada is defeating many different philosophies, and there the question about the Darwinism and other things and all coming, and it's Prabhupada's reply is that no, it's quite obvious that God is there. So these guys are so foolish. So now we see that such great scientists, such great thoughtful people, they are not able to come to the simple conclusion that God is there. From a super intelligent being, many wonderful creation actually comes about. So this simple thing they are not able to see, it is because of ignorance. And it is only by the Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andakar. So till the time Krishna is not arisen in their heart, so it is not possible for them to understand this particular aspect. Even in fact they study religion and philosophy and things like that. So in one of the shlokas in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in our shloka book, it is there. So one may study many books and commentaries and things like that, but still he may not understand what is Krishna, because Krishna is understood by the mercy of a Vaishnava. It's by the Lord's mercy carried by a Vaishnava. So that is how Krishna is understood. So in this way, we see that the Lord is very mercifully arisen in the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance. So wherever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went and he touched the lives of people, so they could able to get an experience of the Lord, right? So then the next shloka is, it's a little long shloka. Ed Advaitam Brahmopanishadi tad api asya tanubha ya atmantar yami purusha iti so shama vibhava shad aishwarya purno ya iha bhagavan sa swayam ayam na chaitanyat krishna jagati paratatvam param iha. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord who is known as Super Soul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. Yeah, so it's a very Bhagavad Gita starts by saying that okay, there is material thought is there, and after that there is no concept of something beyond matter is there, and to attain that karma, jnana, dhyana and bhakti are prescribed, and then finally the bhakti is established. And Srimad Bhagavatam talks about the devotional service elaborately, and here we see that right in the third shloka it is very completely put, saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself with all 6 opulences, and he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and no truth is superior to him. So it's so amazingly established, so amazingly put. So that's why it is called the PhD subject matter of Krishna consciousness. And fourth shloka is a very nice shloka, which often cited. Anarpita charim chirat karunayavatirna kalu samarpayitam unnato ujjvala rasam swabhakti shriyam haripurata sundara dhiti kadamba sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratava Suchinandana. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. So this is a benediction that the author is giving. So by reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, by practicing Krishna consciousness, we get such benedictions, such blessings by great personalities, and that's how we get an experience of the Lord in our heart. Right? So here we see that the author is directly benedicting. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. So this has not offered ever before, and it is offered now. So many times this question comes like, why of all the ages Kali Yuga is chosen not to give this particular thing? So other ages, like people are much more qualified and things like that, and so why in the most fallen age? So one of the things which I heard from one of the senior devotees is that when the disease becomes very acute, the medicine also has to be like very, the dosage has to be very high. Without that dosage, like normal medicine will not work actually. So definitely, I don't know if 100 mg and all is there in Dolo. Definitely a Dolo 100 mg is also medicine. But when the fever is high, it is not useful. So like it is, there needs to be a really powerful this one. So that is why in the sequence of unfolding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, so the Lord himself as Advaita Acharya, who is the Mahavishnu, who is all powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead, who came and then who openly expressed that this task is beyond, beyond our capacity. For this, Krishna himself has to come down and he has to distribute, his personal teachings and his personal love towards himself. That is when this situation can be mitigated. So that was an expert diagnosis, that was made at that point in time. And then, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was invited, and then we see that. राधा कृष्ण प्रणय विकृतिर हल्लादिनी शक्ति रस्माद एकात्मनौ अपि भुविपुरा देह भेदम गतौ तौ चैतन्याख्यम प्रकटम अधुना तद्वयम छैक्यमाप्तम राधा भाव द्युति सुवलितम नौमी कृष्ण स्वरूपम. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestation of Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. So like this, in the next shloka, desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Sri Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi as the moon appeared from the ocean. So this is the reason, internal reason that with which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. So many other shlokas are there, but we will go to the 7th chapter of this Adi Leela. So why this chapter is very special is because this is the chapter which is talking about how this mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has reached up till us. How Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saving all the living entities, and how we have been specifically saved from this material ocean by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is very much pertaining to us, how we have been saved. So that is why this chapter is very relevant to us. So always the first sloka of the chapter describes the summary of the whole chapter. So the first sloka is Agatyeka Gatim Natva Hinarthadika Sadakam Sri Chaitanyam Likhyathe Shya Prema Bhakti Vadanyatha. So let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the ultimate goal of life for one bereft of all possessions in the material world, and is only meaning for one advancing in spiritual life. Thus, let me write about his magnanimous contribution of devotional service in love of God. So here the purport is very nice. Srila Prabhupada actually explains about the aspect of this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the ultimate goal of life for one who is bereft of all possessions in the material world. So this particular line, so Srila Prabhupada actually explains very nicely in the purport. So he mentions, okay, let us read the purport. A person in the conditioned stage of material existence is in an atmosphere of helplessness. But the conditioned soul, under the illusion of Maya or external energy, thinks that he is completely protected by his country, society, friendship, and love, not knowing that at not knowing that at the time of death, none of these can save him. So it's a very nice graphic picture. Now, many times devotees say, like, Prabhu, you are telling that if you pray for the holy name, you will be able to chant. So, like, we are not able to pray. So, when does the prayer come? Like, when prayer comes, when we are in very difficult situation, or when we are in hopeless situation. So here the purport Prabhupada gives nice hope to us that a person in conditioned stage of material existence is in an atmosphere of helplessness. Actually our condition is completely in a helpless state. So where we are kicked by the material nature. Like Prabhupada's one favorite sloka is there. Kamadinam katina katita palita durnideshas tesam jatamayi na karuna na tripa no pashanti. So like the material nature is kicking us, and it has never been satisfied with our service, and it is like never has given any leave or chutti and things like that. It is just completely kicking the living entity, but the living entity is like ashlisyava padaratam pinastalo. So whether you kick me or embrace me, like I will serve you life after life. And we have been very diligently serving Maya, life after life. So but we are in a helpless situation where we have surrendered to a master who is merciless, who is like kicking us again and again, and who is not giving even one day of holiday, and he's just torturing like us anything, and torturing us like anything, and we are in a helpless state, and we think that this is the only master available. Without this master, how will I live? How will my life be sustained? How will everything will be taken care of? So that is where it is mentioned that out of illusion, the living entity thinks that country, society, friendship, love, and all these things will offer me protection. These are my protectors. These are the ones like who will take care of me, when I'm in difficult situation. So, but Prabhupada says, at the time of death, none of these things can save us. All these people will ditch us, at the time of death. So the laws of material nature are so strong that none of our material possessions can save us from cruel hands of death. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. One who is actually advancing must always consider the four principles of miserable life, namely birth, death, old age, and disease. So this may appear very pessimistic, like all the motivational speakers in this world. So all of them are giving a hope that this country is livable. People are trustable. Like there is a lot of security that is there, and you have some value in this place and things like that. So, but Krishna consciousness, you read scriptures, they say like, none of these, all of these are useless, and none of these things can save you. And really, if you are an advanced person, you should understand Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Essentially speaking, whole of your life is dukkha dosha anudarshanam. It's just nothing but misery. This is such a pessimistic talk, So like, what is so like, how can anybody listen to all these things and be positive and be enthusiastic? So there is enthusiasm, there is positivity is there. So there is two kinds of positivity is there. One positivity is the person is in a hopeless condition. Just to save him, like from that point, like he is just put into illusion saying that no, itna bhi bura nahi hua, like no, theek hai, like sab kuch theek chal raha hai, So that is one way of positivity. Another way of positivity is to give a real positive like support to that person, like introduce a real support, like which is really a saving grace for him. So now in Krishna consciousness, what we do is we explain that all this support that we are looking for in this world is is fallible. No, it is not going to save us. So, but the other support is there. Who's the Supreme Lord? Oh, Supreme Lord, where is he? No, he is just there, right there in our heart, waiting to see that if this person will ever ask for any support or help, right? So he is always there, and he is accessible, and he is there, and now that all the more he has come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he all the more wants to save, and he is in the mood of saving the living entities. No, why don't you take support of that person? Why are you taking support of these things? So then the living entity says, no, I all this while I have been deriving support from all these things. So then the scripture says, you useless guy, no, it will never support you. It will just give you an illusion that it will all support you, but it will ditch you at the right point in time. So but Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he will never ditch you. No, please take shelter of him. Right? So that is the mood in which Acharya is writing the purport here. One cannot be saved from all these miseries unless he takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is therefore the only shelter of all conditioned souls. An intelligent person therefore does not put his faith in any material possessions, but completely takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Such a person is called Akinchana, or one who does not possess anything in the material world. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is also known as Akinchana Gochara, for he can be achieved by a person who does not put his faith in material possessions. Therefore, for the fully surrendered soul who has no material possession Therefore, for the fully surrendered soul who has no material possessions on which to depend, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the only shelter. And it is next line, it is mentioned, next paragraph, what is this material possessions, what we can put faith on. So everyone depends upon dharma, religiosity, artha, economic development, kama, sense gratification, and ultimately moksha, salvation. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, due to his magnanimous character, can give more than salvation. Therefore, in this verse, hinartha, thadika sadhakam indicate that although by material estimation salvation is of a quality superior to inferior interest of religiosity, economic development and sense gratification, above salvation there is the position of devotional service, the transcendental love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is bestower of this great benediction. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prema Pumarto Mahan. Love of Godhead is the ultimate benediction of all human beings. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, therefore first offers his respectful obeisances unto Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before describing his magnanimity in bestowing love of Godhead. So it's very important that people are looking for a shelter. Somewhere they want to have shelter. So people are looking for shelter in dharma, in artha, in the kama, and in the moksha. So they want to be situated somewhere stably. Nobody likes, if somebody is told that, no, I'll give you a job, no, it'll be there for 2 days, and after that, no, let's see, what happens. I'll say, better, I'll not go for this job. Tell me if you can give me a job, permanent job, it is okay. ठीक है, 1 महीने का contract ले लो. So then also it is still not acceptable. Give me something permanent. I want to have some permanent shelter. Everybody likes to have a permanent home, permanent job, permanent income source, everything permanent, right? So why this is there? Because everybody wants a shelter. So this shelter is dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So dharma means I follow the religious principles. If I follow the religious principles properly, if I'm religious, this religiosity, this dharmic life will save me in the future. Right? So that's a shelter. That's a shelter that a living entity seeks. And after that, if I have sufficient money in my bank balance, so then that is going to save me. Right? So from dharma, the artha comes actually. And then with artha, I can do sense gratification. Sense gratification is giving me some kind of a satisfaction, some nourishment, some kind of happiness that I get. Looking forward for that happiness, I can actually continue to live. Right? So these are all different shelters that a living entity actually searches for. And ultimately, salvation or moksha means I have tried out all these things. Dharma, artha, kama and moksha, sometimes it gives something and it is not permanent. It is not giving me permanent happiness. Hell with all these things. I want to just quit everything and I want to get salvation. No, I want to just float in Brahmajyoti, like, so, and no more tension. So, Bhagavatam says, no, I think Lord Brahma says, right? Aruhya krachena param padam tata patanti yada anadrita ishmadangre. So, even if I think that I can be very happily floating in the Brahmajyoti, so there is no problem, no material things can like attract us, because it is like, what is that? Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, na soshiti na kankshati. So he is not like pulled and pushed by any of the material desires. So he like, I can just float in the Brahma Jyoti. But the Bhagavatam says, you will be frustrated because your natural condition is to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So for some time, no, you will feel the absence of misery of this world, but for long you cannot float there. No, you will again come down. No, because you are active principle, you have to have some active service. No, like if you are just floating in the Brahma Jyoti, like you will not be satisfied. No, and you cannot go to the spiritual world because you don't have the mercy of a Vaishnava. So you will again come down to this material world, trying to do some philanthropic activity and things like that. So in that way, like, no, that is also not very permanent shelter. So that is why in the glories of Shadu Goswamis, like there is one, this one is there, na? Like they are saving the living entities from the trap of liberation. No, so like I think third stanza, right? Shri Gauranga Gunanuvarnana Vido Shraddha Samshuddhanvito Papo Tapo Nikantano Tanubrutam Govinda Ganamritai, then Anandamadi Vardanaika Nipuno Kaivalya Nistarako. Okay, saving people from the dangers of liberation. So like, no, the Goswamis, the devotees, they're saving people from the dangers of liberation. People think that that is the greatest thing that they can have. And here, Srinivas Acharya is like glorifying six Goswamis, saying that they're saving people from the dangers of liberation. No, this is like amazing, this one. And no, here Srila Prabhupada also from his purports. Anybody who's thinking that liberation is the ultimate goal, he cannot stand Srila Prabhupada's purports. He'll see like, this is what I want, and you're like, blasting it and kicking it and things like that. So then he will also come to this. He'll also be saved, from this one. And Raghunath Das Goswami actually describes liberation as a tigress who will just come and like. It is just, what is that? It will just eat a person so badly, it's just rip apart a person and bloodshed will happen. That is how dangerous is liberation. And so, here we see, one of the aspects, practical aspects of liberation is that if I am going through some problem, I have two options to do. One option is to think of, like constantly keep thinking, like we have to think of how to get out of the problem. So, but that is a portion of the problem, solution. So, but not throughout the day, and especially not during our like sadhana time, right? So, in our sadhana time, we can, especially we are talking about sadhana time. So, we can do two things. One is like we can chant our names and then think of how to solve the problem. And another is like to surrender to the Lord, saying that, Lord, like you have put me in this problem, you know how to take me out of this problem. Like whether you want to take me out of the problem or not, that is a different thing. At least give your remembrance. With your remembrance, I can tolerate this problem. So in this way, like we can actually like focus on trying to get the remembrance of the Lord, trying to become absorbed in the names of the Lord. So that is a very nice thing. So this is if we can do this, then we can say the Goswamis and the previous Acharyas and Srila Prabhupada has actually saved us from the dangers of liberation. But if we are thinking about how to get out of the situation, and the whole the chanting is going on in how to get out of the situation, we are still in the moksha kama. We are still not saved from the dangers of liberation. Like still we have to take shelter of like Srila Prabhupada. They can actually take us out of the dangers of liberation, but we should take shelter of them. We should actually listen to them. We should read to the purports of Srila Prabhupada, hear the lectures and very attentively and like carefully. So then they can actually take us out of this whole problem. So this is something that they are doing. And then Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Chaitanya Tahara Charanashrita Se Badadanya. Let me offer glorification to the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One who has taken shelter of his lotus feet is most glorified person. Purve Guru Adi Chaya Tattva Kaila Namaskara, Guru Tattva Kariyache Ebe Panchera Vichara. In the beginning, I have described the truth about spiritual master. Now I shall try to explain Panchatattva. Panchatattva avatirna Chaitanya Rasange, Panchatattva Laya Kara Karena Sankirtana Range. These 5 tattvas incarnate with Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and thus the Lord executes his Sankirtan movement with great pleasure. So this purport is very nice thing, and it gives us, like sometimes devotees get into this trap of to get perfection, I need to do something out of the box. I need to get some, like some time back, like one boy was calling, saying that ये गायत्री क्यों नहीं दे रहा है इस्कॉन में, वो गायत्री क्यों नहीं दे रहे, गोपी गायत्री चाहिए, सखी गायत्री चाहिए, and things like that. That will offer me perfection and things like that. So like वो गायत्री का सब गायत्री, like ultimate thing is given to us that we are not able to understand. So we should understand, like which time and again we should spend quality time understanding the depth or understanding the importance of the elements that are given to us as the practice of sadhana. The morning program that is given to us, like the bhajans that are given to us. Out of all the Vaishnava bhajans, certain bhajans are chosen, and every day we are asked to sing them. So why it is so? We have to get more deeper into these bhajans, and we have to understand the glory of the daily sadhana that we are doing. Otherwise somebody will come and say, like, I am doing this, and immediately we'll start thinking that अरे मेरे पास वो नहीं है, वो लोग ये सब कर रहे हैं, मेरे पास ये नहीं है. And we can go to some dham, and there will be some people who will be there, and they will tell something like, ये नहीं कर रहा, वो नहीं कर रहा, and we don't have sufficient depth in our own practice and sufficient faith in our own practice. So we hear something, मेरे पास वो नहीं है, शायद से वो करूँगा तो अच्छा हो जाएगा. So that kind of this one comes. So that's why we should always see, and we should feel proud about our practice. We should feel we should understand the power of our practice, and we should feel proud about our practice. So that's a very important thing. Otherwise anybody can come and shake us very easily. So this purport, it is that kind of a purport which gives a lot of faith in the process that we are following. So one of the process that we are following is chanting of Shri Panchatattva mantra, right? So that particular thing is very powerfully mentioned here. Let's try to read the purport. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is the following statement regarding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yajnahi Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedasaha. In the age of Kali, people who are endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtan Yajna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by his plenary expansion Sri Nityananda Prabhu, his incarnation Sri Advaita Prabhu, his internal potency Sri Gadadhar Prabhu, his marginal potency Srivas Prabhu. He is in the midst of them as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by these other tattvas. Therefore, our obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are complete when we say Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So let me read this again. Therefore, our obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are complete when we say Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So it's a very important thing that when we offer worship to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we worship him together with all his close associates, with whom he actually performs various, that will come little later. So Lord performs his pastimes in a unique way. When Lord performs his pastimes, it is not that अकेला आके कुछ करके जाएंगे. No, ऐसा नहीं है. Whenever he does something, he does in the company of his close associates. That is revealed in this chapter a little later. And when we offer our obeisances, when we offer worship to the Lord, so when we worship him in this way, him and all his associates together, the Lord also feels great pleasure. Ultimately, our worship is meant to offer pleasure to the Lord. So, and this is very amazing way of offering worship to the Lord, to worship Panchatattva, right? As preachers of Krishna consciousness movement, We first offer our obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting this Panchatattva mantra. Then we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There are 10 offenses in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but these are not considered in the chanting of Panchatattva mantra, namely Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. So, if you chant more times Sri Krishna Chaitanya, at least no Panchatattva mantra, there is no offenses are there, and we'll make a tremendous progress. So, like some devotees very intelligent, they say, no, then Hare Krishna mantra is so difficult, so much offenses involved. Let me just chant Panchatattva mantra. So, like that will not please Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction is Hari Bol, right? So, you should chant the names of Hari. You should chant the names of Hare Krishna mantra. So, that is his instruction. We should follow the instruction of our master. So, but at the same time, there is some concession that is there. No, while chanting Hare Krishna Panchatattva mantra, there is no what is that? No offenses considered. So that's why my spiritual master says, like, no, you chant more times Panchatattva mantra. And then, one time, one person comes and asks him that, I've been chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Basically, the Bengal, Odia, many people chant Hare Krishna mantra. So, but you people are telling some taste, this, that, and all. I'm not getting anything. So then, Guru Maharaj says, you see, you are not chanting Panchatattva mantra. You should chant and then you should try out. And after some time, again, in the travels, again he meets Guru Maharaj, and then that time he says, now I am able to feel the taste. So, because Panchatattva mantra is very, very important, because, they don't consider any offense and they are in the mood of giving the mercy to the living entity. So, through them we can actually access the Hare Krishna mantra in a nice way, right? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is known as Mahavadanyaya Avatar, the most magnanimous incarnation, for he does not consider the offense of the fallen souls. Thus, to derive the full benefit of chanting the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we must first take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, learn the Panchatattva mantra, and then chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That will be very effective. So then after that, Prabhupada talks about those people who screw up and come up with different kinds of mantras. So, sometime else you can. So, I will not read that. So, anyways, Prabhupada has written, so let's take advantage. Taking advantage of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, many unscrupulous devotees manufacture a Mahamantra of their own. Sometimes they sing bhajan, Nitai Gaur Radhe Sham, Hare Krishna Hare Ram, Shri Radhe Govinda. Actually, however, one should chant the names of the full Panchatattva. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. The third time Prabhupada is writing the mantra. Right? And then the 16 words, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So why Prabhupada is doing all these things? बच्चों को कुछ पढ़ाता है ना, नो ए ऐसा लिखो, नो ऐसा लिखता है, थोड़ा इधर उधर कर, नहीं ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा लिखना है, so like that Prabhupada is teaching ABCD, so very, very clearly, see, this mantra is so very powerful. It is much more powerful than the Gayatri mantra and things like that. So that is why in ISKCON, second initiation is not that much important. If you want to do deity worship, or if you want to do cooking for the Lord, or some services like that, and these days, there are other places also second initiation is expected. Somebody who's taking some managerial role, higher role and things like that. Why? Because second initiation means it's a condition, okay, this guy has been stable in Krishna consciousness, practice of Krishna consciousness. So this is a managerial reason they have put, just like Kantimala 3 rounds and 2 rounds, there is no scriptural significance. Just for managerial reason, dekhte hai pata chal jayega, haan, to ye initiated hai, non-initiated hai, like that. So in that way, some managerial reasons also second initiation is given. But the real thing that is going to give Golokera Premadana is Harinam Sankirtana. So that is very important. And Harinam Sankirtan should precede with the chanting of Panchatattva mantra, and it should always precede with the chanting of the pranam mantras of Srila Prabhupada. So these things will enable us to actually access the Lord very easily, right? So one of in one place I had gone, this people following Shankara Sampradaya. So I wanted to, like, they actually asked me to lead a bhajan over there, so, kirtan over there. I wanted to lead one particular tune which I was practicing at the time. So which I will not get if I chant no Prabhupada Pranam Mantra and no Panchatattva Mantra and all. So directly I went into the tune. So, and then I chanted and things like that. Later on, that Shankara follower, he told, see, like whenever we do kirtan, we should first like take the names of Acharya, right? Like, and I was like feeling very bad, you know. So no, because they follow that, no, even a Mayavadi Sampradaya. So they, whenever they want to do something, whenever they want to speak something, they first take the blessings of the Acharya and then they do. And we are all the more Bhakti Yoga practitioners. Our whole thing is based on like taking shelter of the Lord and taking shelter of Lord through the parampara, right? So I was feeling very bad, you know. So then from then on, like sometimes still I forget. No, but then on, like whenever I start kirtan, I remember. So if I want to start another tune, I'll like with normal recitation, Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Uttare, I'll chant and then I'll start the tune. So it is like so that's a very important instruction. No, though I got it from a Mayavadi, but it's a very important instruction that we should take always shelter of the Guru Parampara and Srila Prabhupada and Panchatattva and then Hare Krishna Mantra. So, and so this is nice sloka. Panchatattva eka vastu nahi kichu beda rasa asvadite tabu vivida viveda. Spiritually, there is no difference between these five tattvas, for on the transcendental platform, everything is absolute. Yet there are also varieties in the spiritual world, and in order to taste these spiritual varieties, one should distinguish between them. So, okay, so when I just read this, I just remembered this aspect. I just bought a book in Mayapur, like Dashamula Tattva, so by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's a very nice book actually. So this Dashamula Tattva is nothing but like the whole of Vedanta Sutras, what it talks about, or whole of the Vedic body of literatures, what it talks about. It's given in 10 precise truths, 10 precise things. If you know these 10 things, then that means you know entirety of the Vedas. Now what are these 10 things? The first thing is Vedas is the ultimate authority. Vedas is the ultimate authority. Whatever the Vedas says, that is the ultimate conclusion. And it is organized in a nice way. The first thing talks about the Veda, the like Pramana, and second three things, second, third, and fourth talks about Krishna, and like fifth, sixth, and seventh talks about the living entity, and eighth talks about the Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. The Lord is simultaneously one and different from his energies. And then the ninth talks about the process to attain the Lord, that is devotional service. Devotional service means Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, or like Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, or like this one Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayor. Engaging Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So the process of devotion, the process of attaining the Lord is the process of attaining the goal. Let's not define the goal what it is. So process of attaining the goal is the devotional service. And what is the goal? Goal is love of Godhead. So these are the 10 things. If we know these 10 things, we know the entirety of the Vedic scriptures. So first is the Vedas, and second point is Krishna is the absolute truth. And third point is Krishna has unlimited number of energies. Like he has got immense amount of energies. And fourth thing is Krishna is Rasaraj. He has amazing relationships with his devotees. He has like very amazing relationship with his devotees. So Raso Vaisahar, the Vedanta Sutras also talk about that. And then fifth point is living entity is conditioned, and because the living entity is a marginal potency, and because he is marginal potency, the sixth point is he can come under the material influence. And seventh point is because he is marginal potency, he can exist in the spiritual world also. It's not that he is eternally put into the material world and he can never go to the spiritual world. He can go to the spiritual world. He has the existence over there also, right? And then eighth point is that the Lord and his energies, be it material and or the spiritual, that living entities. So Lord and his energies are simultaneously one and different. That is the eighth point. And ninth point is like to attain the goal, understanding all these things, no, all these aspects. The previous 8 is Sambandha Gyan, and the 9th point is understanding all these things, iti matva bhajante mam. So understanding all these things, I have to engage in the bhajan. Bhajan means what? Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam. Engaging the senses in the service of the Lord. Right? And what is the goal? By engaging in the bhajan, like what will I get? What is the ultimate goal? Krishna Prema. No, that is the ultimate goal. So when the goal is, no, many of the times, like I've seen the acharyas explain, or the Prabhupada writes in the purport also, that the sambandha is a very important thing. Initially, that has to be clarified. So because otherwise, why do I have to practice Krishna consciousness? That itself is very difficult. If I think I am body, if I think, no, I am something else, no, then I cannot get the impetus to practice Krishna consciousness. So sambandha is very essential. The Lord is there. I am part and parcel of the Lord. And my job is to render no devotional service to him. So this is the expertise of Srila Prabhupada. No, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave 10 truths. And Srila Prabhupada repeats this point in many, many places. No, Supreme Lord is Lord is absolute, and we are part and parcel of the Lord, and our job is to render devotional service to the Lord. So he has concised this 10 truths even in more simple language that anybody can understand and easily practice. And anybody knows this line of Srila Prabhupada, he knows entire Vedic literatures. He doesn't need to know anything else apart from this. So this is so amazing. No, this is the power of the Acharya. This is the eloquence of the Acharya. No, that is why he is a Jagat Guru, or like a spiritual master for next 10,000 years, because he can present the Vedic literature, which is so complex, in such a digestible way, which anybody can practice so easily. So in this, primarily I wanted to speak about this. Prema Pumarto Mahan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established that Prema Pumarto Mahan. So this love of Godhead is the ultimate goal that needs to be attained. So when we know the goal, so why this goal is being pronounced, the goal, if it is there, so we can actually orient ourselves and we can actually go towards the goal. So one very important aspect in advancement in Krishna consciousness is what it takes to go back to the spiritual world, or what it takes to attain the goal. What is the goal of Krishna Prem is that desire. So how will it come in my desire? I need to have Krishna Prem. So I have to orient myself by reading the purports of Srila Prabhupada, by studying the scriptures. What we get is, especially Chaitanya Charitamrita, when we read, so we, time and again, it is put how the devotees, they attain the love of Godhead. And they, with the love of Godhead, what were they experiencing, and how intensely they were hankering for the association of the Lord. So these things, are very nicely described. Why? Because that will become our goal. When that becomes our goal, so then our practice of Krishna consciousness, then Krishna will say, okay, fine, you want this? I'll bestow. I bless this. And Krishna will say, okay, now I've given you. So what is your job to do now? Go and distribute to others. So we need to understand what the goal is, and we need to desire for it, and the Lord will bestow upon us. And whatever the Lord bestows, we will share with others also, right? So that very same thing. And then Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam, so this particular shloka is mentioned. Then Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Ekala Ishvara Advaitiya Nandatmaja Rasika Shekara. Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, the controller. No one is greater than or equal to Sri Krishna, yet He appears as the son of Nanda Maharaj. Okay, so Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the supreme enjoyer in the rasa dance. He is the leader of the damsels of Raja, and all others are simply His associates. The self-same Lord Krishna, say Krishna Avatirna, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, say Parikara Gana, Sange Sabadhanya. So the very same Parikar, the very same associates of the Lord, who were there in Krishna Leela, they also appear in Chaitanya Leela. The self-same Lord Krishna advented Himself as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all His eternal associates who are also equally glorious. Ekala Ishvara Tattva Chaitanya Ishvara Bhakta Bhava Maya Thara Shuddha Kalevara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme controller. The one personality of Godhead has ecstatically become a devotee, yet his body is transcendental and not materially tinged. Krishna Madhuryera Eka Adbhuta Swabhava Apana Asvadite Krishna Kara Bhaktas Bhava. The transcendental mellow of conjugal love of Krishna is so wonderful that Krishna himself accepts the form of a devotee to relish and taste it fully. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to distribute, like what does he do? So this is the process of distribution. It is mentioned, and in one of the purports, Srila Prabhupada mentions, it is not just Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did this, and his followers, the Goswamis did, and no, rest of the followers, everybody did this. What did they do? First, like they experienced, the taste of Krishna consciousness, and then they distributed, this taste. So this is a very important principle, like which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally enunciates, and mercifully Srila Prabhupada also writes in the purports, like glorifying this particular aspect, or highlighting this particular aspect. Iti Bhakta Bhavadare Chaitanya Gosai Bhakta Swarupatara Nityananda Bhai. So for this reason, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the supreme teacher, accepts the form of a devotee and accepts Lord Nityananda as his elder brother. Bhakta Avatara Tara Acharya Gosai se ei tina tattva sabha Prabhu Kari Gai. Sri Advaita Acharya is Lord Chaitanya's incarnation as a devotee. Therefore, these three tattvas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Gosai, are the predominators or masters. Eka Mahaprabhu, Ara Prabhu, Doi Jana. Dui Prabhu Seva Mahaprabhu Racharana. So this is like one of them is Mahaprabhu, another two are Prabhus. Okay, and these two Prabhus serve the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Right. Nice this one. And Eitina Tattva Sarva Aradhya Karimani Chaturtha E Bhakta Tattva Aradhika Jani. These three, the first three that I mentioned, are the Aradhya Bhagavan, and the fourth and fifth principle are the Shakti Tattva, who are the devotees of the Lord and who worship the Lord. So I'll just skip a few, and then there's a very nice shloka. This is 18th and 19th. It's a very, very important thing to understand for all the devotees and especially for the preachers. Like, what are we actually trying to do? Yasabara Laya Prabhura Nitya Vihara, Yasabara Laya Prabhura Kirtana Prachara, Yasabalaya Karena Prema Aswadana, Yasabalaya Dana Kare Prema Dhana. So now, how does this preaching happen? So, like it is mentioned here, the internal devotees or potencies are all eternal associates in the pastimes of the Lord. So, Panchatattva, they are eternal associates of the Lord. Panchatattva and also the other internal associates. Only with them does the Lord advent to propound the Sankirtan movement, and only with them does the Lord taste the mellow of conjugal love, and only with them does he distribute this love of God to people in general. So it's very clear, initially only it is very, very much clarified that only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can distribute this love of Godhead, and nobody else have the adhikar to distribute. And here it is mentioned, and he himself also, akela jaake kuch distribute karenge, no. He himself also, like, he experiences the bliss of Krishna consciousness with these internal associates, and he, whatever is there, other things. Only with them does the Lord advent to propound Sankirtan movement, and only with them does he taste the mellows of conjugal love, and only with them does he distribute the love of God to people in general. So now, preacher's job is just like, how many of you have driven a preacher to a preaching program? A preacher is had to go to a preaching program, so some devotee will come to drive, right? So to take. So it is something like that. Panchatattva are preaching the message of love of Godhead, and the preacher is like the driver who is taking them to the spot and giving them the audience of the people, and they are actually preaching. So this is a very nice nourishing kind of a feeling. So when we actually feel like that, so when we see that the Krishna consciousness is being spread through us and not by us, our Prabhu was telling the statements in the inauguration program. I'm not so articulate in that. So this one, if we allow the current to pass through us, we'll actually get the electrification, right? So, but if we put the resistance in our side, or if the pride takes over, thinking that I can present the subject matter in a nice way, so then it actually stops the flow of mercy from Panchatattva, and we will be able to make some impact, but we will not be able to make that impact which the Panchatattva can do it. So it is always very nice to meditate upon that I am here as a driver, as a carrier, of Panchatattva. And this sloka is nice to memorize, actually. Yasabara Laya Prabhura Nitya Vihara, Yasabara Laya Prabhura Kirtana Prachara, Yasabara Laya Karena prema aswadana, ya sabalaya dana, khare prema dana. Right? So this is like these people, only with them, he does that, and he does that, right? So it is very important that the devotees like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees in the parampara and the spiritual master, so they are doing the service, and I am just there as a servant. I am trying to carry their message, over here. So when we do like that, so then it offers a great deal of spiritual nourishment for ourselves, and we can actually, the preaching program can be a very nourishing event actually. So just like a sadhana program, just like a shravanam is a nourishing event, or for some people chanting is a nourishing event, for some people like different aspects are nourishing event. So if we want to make the preaching program a nourishing event, so then we can actually have this kind of mood saying that I'm just, even the people who are doing the assisting services, so they can very well think, they can like, I'm the carrier and I'm just making arrangements so that Panchatattva, through the senior devotees, they can actually go and preach this message of Krishna consciousness. So when we feel that, like that is that's a real aspect. So Prabhupada mentions that how to preach to a drunkard. If you tell the drunkard that this taste of wine is Krishna, so then he advances. So like in the same way, like we are doing some service, how it is connected to Krishna, if we can actually understand that point. And if we can just remember Krishna, like, okay, this service is related to Krishna in this particular way, because like, this service is coming down in parampara, or like the Lord Chaitanya likes this and I'm doing this, and this has been told to be my authority, and then I'm doing this. So that connection is established, and because I'm doing it based on their instruction, this will be pleasing to the Lord. I am doing a service for the Lord. So when we understand its connection to the Lord, then it becomes so nourishing. But when we don't understand its connection to the Lord, so then it becomes Maya, and Maya is burdensome. Maya will actually fry out. So why actually frying out happens? Many times devotees get fried out in some services. So why frying out happens? Because somehow or other, the devotee is not able to see the connection of the service to Krishna. So when he is not able to see its connection to Krishna, then all that is happening is like frying, tapatraya, that is actually happening, and he gets burnt out, right? So it is very important that any service that we do, if we can actually see its connection to Krishna, that will help us to get the nourishment. That will help us to do that in a nice way. Right? And okay, so actually I wanted to come to this point only. This particular shloka. So I could able to come here. So I'll pause here. Any points that devotees want to share? We can discuss. Hare Krishna.
So the last, that was very nice to read. It was a different angle towards the Gaur Purnima festival. It was very nice to read this. So the last part that we discussed. So is it that we have to think about it because it might not come naturally? So we have to just keep thinking about it. That's what we have to do.
At least a meditation. We can offer meditation.
Okay.
Like how much we will be thinking about it while preaching, that's a different thing. At least we can prepare our mood like that.
Because this also, if this particular thing has to become a realization, then obviously mercy of the Lord is needed. Without that, though, it's not possible. So we have to just meditate on this, that I am so and so in their service.
Again, thinking about that particular aspect, recently one devotee had asked me one question that he was reading in the Prabhupada books that we need to have faith, we need to have faith in the process and things like that. So what is this faith and how to measure this faith and things like that he had asked. So we have this faith is nothing but the evolution of faith is nothing but, or measured as in terms of the 9 stages of bhakti. Like Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. More the faith increases, more we actually access the name, more strongly. So like it is also mentioned nicely in that Boro Sukher Kabar guy. So like Shraddha Mulya Shuddha Naam. Jitna Shraddha denge utna Shuddha Naam, utna powerful name milenge humko. So like, and the Nityananda Prabhu personally verifies, iske paas kitna Shraddha hai. Uske hisab se like, the maal baante hain actually. So in that way, that particular thing actually happens. So more we advance in Krishna consciousness, these things becomes a natural thought process. Naturally, a devotee is always in this thought process. So in the conditioned state, the Lord and the acharyas are merciful that they give these particular prayers so that we can think about them often. And when we are giving class like this, and when somebody is offering glorification, Prabhuji, you gave a nice class. So then we know, like, no, Prabhuji, I was just driver. No, Panchatattva came and they preached, and all glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can actually we'll be able to feel like that, right? So if we have the realization that Lord had preached, then we can actually say in the Premadvani that all glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So but if we think that we have done something, okay, fine, like all glories to them, but still, like, no, I also did something, thoda glories mere liye bhi bacha ke rakhiye. So at least so that thing, the natural humility, why does that humility comes? Because they are able to see literally, like, it is they who did this, and like that we call it as humility, but for a pure devotee that's just a realization, that's just a reality which has happened actually. It's the Lord who did this job, like, no, why should I take the credit, right? So it is like that. Sometimes it happens, like some devotee does some service, he does cleaning nicely, he cleans, and then he goes off. And then we are standing there and we are trying to see how it is. And another devotee comes and says, Prabhuji, you cleaned so nicely. And abhi kya bole, like, no, maine nahi kiya. Thank you very much, bro. So ऐसे भी कोई glorification नहीं offer करते तो आप अच्छा लग रहा थोड़ा. So actually speaking, that real happiness comes from remembrance of the Lord. So more nice, like, form of remembrance of the Lord, the happiness actually comes. So when, like, in all the transactions, if somehow or other we are able to remember the Lord, so then that gives us nourishment. So in the conditioned state, that remembrance is very difficult. So like every activity, why I am doing this, how it is connected to Krishna is very essential. So it is nice to again and again remind ourselves and keep make a meditation on that. So that, like, at least for some time, we will be there, hosh mein rahenge. So after that it may go off, that's okay. At least we have tried our best. Like, and when advancement happens, then naturally we will feel like that.
That explain you about Dashamola Sutra.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. The first point which you made, that we have to understand the glory of the daily sadhana practices which have been given to us. That is a very, very nice point. Not only it helps me to go deeper into the aspects which have been given to us, but it helps me to actually understand the mood which the acharyas had, why they gave this to us. So that will make me very confident about my own practice, and that will not make me fall prey to the various other so-called more advanced processes which are there around. So I was just relating it to some conversations which I heard many years ago, that this temple is better to practice Krishna consciousness, and that temple has more number of devotees, or this temple has more exposure to sannyasis and Prabhupada disciples. So now I'm understanding that that wherever you are, if you just practice what Prabhupada has given to us with faith, then it doesn't matter, Prabhupada will take care. It doesn't matter so much. Some people say, oh, Delhi temple is very nice because all the sannyasis before going to Vrindavan, they'll go there. So if you chant Hare Krishna in the Delhi temple, you'll get better results. So actually that is not the case. The case is that the holy name is everywhere powerful, and simply if we stick to the morning program, if we stick to the Tulsi Aarti, and if we perform what Prabhupada has told, like chant the Panchatattva mantra and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is enough to take us home back to Godhead. So I was just meditating on this point. Thank you for highlighting that. Another point which I liked was in the process of practicing Krishna consciousness, whenever we don't see its connection with Krishna consciousness, with Krishna, then we feel burnt out. So this has happened to me on various occasions. Whenever I'm doing something or trying to do something, if I don't see its connection with Krishna, I feel it's not helping me. I don't feel nourished. So I'm just trying to pray to Lord Chaitanya that next time when I'm in this kind of a situation, yeah, he should give me some intelligence to see, okay, I'm feeling burnt out now, I'm feeling fried, I'm feeling bored now. Please help me to understand how is it connected to some instruction of Guru or Krishna, so that I can actually go deeper into its realizations and happiness which it will give. So these two are my takeaways from today's discussion. Hare Krishna.
So this one, I was getting trained in one temple, which were nice. Many devotees were there, and in the initial days, and then one devotee over there, he told me that no, you're going to join in a temple in Bangalore where no brahmacharis are there, and it is not means like you will not be able to sustain there, and like many other senior devotees, they like whoever saw that thing, so they actually invested some this one like the same thing they invested, like no, you do your morning program nicely, chant nicely, and do your preaching nicely and things like that. So they all were giving this point, but one of my colleague, no equal person, so he told, "Arey, like you will not be able to do it. Like no, you don't have association of devotees, and like no, you don't have other this ones and all. Definitely that is necessary. No, we cannot say without association we can practice. So, but the situation is such that I have to be there. Like managerially also it is very difficult. Like no, I have come through a temple for training, and I cannot just stay back over there. No, I have to go back. So managerially also it is complicated thing actually. So, and I know that it is not possible. And also it is my superior's instruction to stay in that place. In Bangalore, so where there is no association of other brahmacharis. Now I am the first one to join. So at this point, like when I presented this proposition to senior devotees, this is the instruction that I have got, and I have to stay here. So they all invested in me, saying that this one instruction, that do your morning program nicely. Be absorbed in your this practice. No, we'll pray for you. No, like that. So, but the other person, like who was like pushing me a lot, saying that no, you should not go there. Like no, you should be there in a place where other devotees are there and things like that and all. So now he's not there in Krishna. Means he's not there in ashram. So it is like sometimes it is very important to follow, not sometimes, it's always very important to follow the instructions that is coming, rather than looking at, oh, this will be beneficial, that will be beneficial, what will this one can do. No, we can try to be there in the most secure environment. Maya can just kick off in one shot. But if we are following the instructions of Guru and Krishna, so because we are following, Maya can release us, like Krishna can save us actually. So that is our strength. Our strength is not our personal choice. Our strength is like our following of instructions. So that's that's one realization. So it's a very important thing, that morning program. When one devotee told me that when he was a newcomer, like he was doing book distribution, and this is like my own mentor I am talking about. So when he was a newcomer, he was doing book distribution. One proper disciple, he called him and he told that, see, you should distribute, you should read them also. And those who read these books, they stayed back, and others all left. So it's a very powerful statement actually. So we should do this one. That's why I'm very happy in the ashram. All devotees I read for 45 minutes, and Prabhu reads for 1.5 hours, and everybody reads half an hour, 1 hour, like that minimum every day. We make sure that we read. So this is a very, very important thing. This basic sadhana practice, very deeply we have to do. Otherwise, we will be knocked off. No time we can be knocked off. Actually, very important. Hare Krishna. So today we are going past 9:30 because there is no prasadam.
So in that 10 Mula Sutras, you explained that we are marginal energy, we can take shelter of, we have a choice to take shelter of any of the both energies of the Lord. So we were all in spiritual world, and how to understand that some other souls are there in spiritual world currently also, and like Nitya Siddhas and Nitya Baddhas, something there, and So currently we are Nitya Baddhas, and Nitya Siddhas also come to material world sometimes, and they also like Manjaris, and our Acharyas are Manjaris. So, so how to understand that? So they are also marginal energy, or they are expansions of who are expansions of Radharani, Sakis, Manjaris, and uh, like little more deep explanation. Can you give, Prabhuji?
So this particular aspect of Nitya Baddha means the Acharya Prabhupada explains that since we have been there in the material world since time immemorial, so it is called as almost eternally. No, so like, that is why this word Nitya Baddha is used. And Nitya Siddha is like there who are there in the spiritual world, they are eternally there in the spiritual world. And it is mentioned that when devotees practice Krishna consciousness, they join the group of Nitya Siddhas. So then they are also called as Nitya Siddha Karimani. No? So they are also like called as the Nitya Siddhas. So this aspect of internal energy and the marginal energy, we are marginal energy and there is internal potency of the Lord, Srimati Radharani and her expansions. So there is a little gray area even for me to understand, like I don't have a real clarity. Some places it appears that Acharya's word says that like, we become internal potency, but technically it is not possible. So that explanation, even I don't have solid clarity on that. So like at least from the overall philosophy we can understand the internal potency are internal potency and marginal potency is marginal potency. Marginal potency can fall, the internal potency can never fall. Like that. I'm not very sure about that particular aspect. No, they are like if I can technically speak, like if they are expansions of Srimati Radharani, they are internal potency. But if they are expansions of the marginal potency of the Lord, so then they are this one. So I don't have a clarity on that particular subject. I've never studied.
You told about the second initiation is not that much considered as managerial and like that. And,
No. That is managerial. Nahi hai.
some places it is required.
So they have put it. No, like for example, somebody has to become temple president, he has to be second initiated, like that.
Relative question, one more I had is earlier the mantra which the spiritual master or guru used to give were only in the ears of disciple. So it was there. So now our mantra is open to everyone and we know a mantra
Where?
also. Like Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Not second initiation.
Name is like openly given everywhere. See, even the Gayatri mantra also, even in the Vedic this one, how can anybody construct a mantra which is not there in the Vedas? Even in Gayatri mantra also, it is not a secret. No, none of these Gayatri mantras are secret. It is all there in the Vedic literatures. Without being there in the Vedas, like how can anybody construct some new mantra? That is not possible. It is open for public. No, always all the mantras are open for public. So now this chanting of Gayatri mantra, why it is confidential, why it is given in the ear. So that is something the Guru gives in the ear of the disciple, and the disciple, when he is chanting as a sadhana, as a practice, then, or when he is like performing like Vedic sacrifices and things like that, he is using it as a religious ritual, then it is only possible to be performed by a second initiated person or Brahmana. So, but otherwise, these mantras, the Gayatri mantras, even Matajis also chant like normally, like as a this one. So, like if you calling bell mein lagate, idhar lagate, udhar lagate, like just to create an auspiciousness, like somebody can just to glorify the Lord. That's Gayatri mantra is nothing but a glorification of the Lord. Just to glorify the Lord, somebody may chant. That is not prohibited. No. The mantra itself is not prohibited. The usage of mantra in the religious rituals, that is where it is prohibited. When it comes to the aspect of like Bhakti Yoga, where you are just glorifying the Lord, so you can take any of the mantras and you can glorify the Lord. So you are not restricted for that. So it is not that mantras are kept secret so that like nobody can know about it also. It's not like that. It's there in the Vedic literatures.
Ramanujacharya received the mantra from
Om
the
Namah.
spiritual master. So he was spiritual master told that should not tell to anyone. So he went on top of it and shouted open to everyone. Like that the holy names are available. Currently we also
See there also the effect of Panchatattva mantra, how Hare Krishna mantra alone we cannot chant because there are so many offenses are there. And there it's a very, very intense pastime actually that you are quoting about. So like, here we see that Panchatattva, like they actually come and they actually give the adhikar to chant that particular mantra. So if you are approaching Krishna, there are so many offenses that are involved. More than getting purified, you may get caught in the offenses and you may you may get caught in those things. So, but the Panchatattva, they make it easy for us. No, they actually relieve us from the offenses and they give a path to attain Krishna. So in the same way, like when Ramanujacharya was asked, like, why did he do this? Like, no, he went back and he reported. And why did he do this? Like, no, now, what will happen? What will be the repercussions? Ramanujacharya told, like, no, I will take everything. Right? So now this is a mercy of the Acharya. No, it's not that like you write the mantra and like no, you just throw it somewhere and like no, koi uta ke pad liya to acha hai. It's not like that. The Acharya takes the responsibility, of like efficacy of the mantra. Like he takes the responsibility of taking their like adverse actions also, adverse reactions also. That is why it is powerful. No, that is why it is possible. It is not just simply like you just steal away some mantra and you do something. No. So here the Acharya, then his spiritual master become pleased with him, right? So it is very important principle over there.
And if we are submissively hearing the Guru's Vani and purification the name, and the Mahamantra is there, the potency of the Lord's holy name is there, and everything is available, means why this first initiation process also is kept provided? Like we are chased to Guru, submissive to Guru, we understood that.
So like Srila Prabhupada gives an argument for this. If you actually love a person and you have a union with him, union with that person and things like that, so what is your problem in getting married? That's the argument Prabhupada gives. No? If anyway you love a person, so what is your problem in getting married? So anyway you are so chaste to that spiritual master, you follow everything and things like that. What is your problem in getting initiation? Right? And it is a Vedic process and we are followers of Vedic scriptures. No, the first principle that we established is, we are Vedas is the ultimate authority. And Vedas says you should accept spiritual master. It's an axiomatic truth and we don't argue with that. No, we just accept it. Right? So one is reasoning, like we cannot have, your question starts from logic. So logic cannot be the pramana. No, logic can be used to understand the pramana. Our pramana is Vedic scriptures. We should understand, okay, Vedic scriptures talks about like initiation. So then the acharyas give a logic. The acharyas also use a logic. No, what logic they use? Anyway, you love somebody. No, what's your problem in getting married? So there, the logic is an assistant to the pramana, our prime pramana, that is Vedas. So when we say that, like anyway I am chaste, to following this process, like why should I take initiation? So it is logic is in the front. No, logic is the pramana. Like by logic I see that I can be like this. So like no, what is the problem? When I keep the logic as pramana, then the argument becomes little difficult to solve. So always, this is also a way of answering the questions. Like, if whenever we find a question, so immediately we should bring a pramana, the scripture, and then we should apply a logic, to achieve the pramana over there. So then it will become easier, right? So in that way, like we can, so it's just a way of answering the questions also we can do that. Okay. Hare Krishna. Any other points?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, at middle you spoke about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Prema and you said that one should desire first, and that desire will become goal for you. Therefore, how we can desire? We should take the shelter of Guru. We should read the Prabhupada books, and with that we can desire what is the goal properly, and we can connect with our previous acharyas such that those desires can transcend in us, Prabhuji. And next, you told about Krishna consciousness is nothing that it is given like that. It was first experienced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu itself, and then along with their associate, and it has passed on, Prabhuji. Therefore, the things which have got Krishna consciousness, it is most bona fide, and we should feel proud of this. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So the point which I liked was some points that that gratitude will make the heart soft, and when the heart is soft, then only the devotee will be able to attract the mercy of the Lord. This point is very nice and very practical. And the other point is that as a preacher, we should always meditate upon this, that I'm just a carrier of the mercy of the Panchatattva. I'm not doing this, but I'm just carrying the mercy. So he is preaching, the Panchatattva is preaching, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is preaching. I'm just carrying his mercy or carrying his words. So this point is very nice. And while doing any service also, as Prabhuji mentioned, that we will be burnt out. The only reason of burning out is that I'm not able to understand this, that this is I'm doing this for the pleasure of the Lord. I'm just a servant of the Lord. I'm not able to think that service in connection with the Lord. So this point is very nice. And ultimately the importance of the sadhana, that the more we should be very the importance on the sadhana should be given should be the sadhana should be given utmost importance and should be done very nicely. Then only we'll be able to sustain on the path of devotion. And the more faith we have, the more we'll be able to access the mercy and the holy names of the Lord. So faith is a very important factor. Hare Krishna.
Gaur Purnima Mahamahotsav ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki jai. Hare Krishna. So now